And we are live.
Hello, hello, hello. It's so great to be with you again. It has been way too long. We were saying it's been about 2 months. I'm like, oh my gosh, it feels like it's been like 6 months. I'm like, we stopped this back like in July. You're like, no. I'm like, oh my gosh. Well, that's how long every single day feels. We are coming to you live from Kevin's office in Brooklyn, New York, which is also part of our home. And Kevin just closed the door, which means our kids who we put to bed, we've just left them totally alone. They're only 7 years old.
They're fine.
But they turn 8 this Sunday. We're really excited. I can't believe it. I can still remember the years and the days where I just thought, oh my God, we will never get through this because having twins, holy mackerel. Yeah. But they are such a joy. And I remember running into a man when I was almost having a nervous breakdown in the middle of the street, as you do in Brooklyn with kids, because we're all parents here and we all have trust struggles. And I remember I was having a difficult time, and this father also had twins, and he shouted, he goes, "It gets better when they're 8 years old." And I'll never forget that. And here we are. So, hey, we made it, Kevin. So we'll definitely have some cute pictures of our kids and their birthday coming to us this Sunday. But and again, it is we have looked so forward to being back live with you, especially after this last week of news and just endless news streams and boy, difficult week, wouldn't you say? But that's why we're glad we're here with you, because we want to talk about travel and we want to talk about the future in 2021. And the last time we saw you, we didn't know if there was going to be a vaccine rolled out, and here we are. You know, hats off to the scientists and all the medical workers who made a vaccine in a year. Yeah. That's incredible. I mean, that's just, you know, and all the news of the virus right now, and just how it's just taking its grip on all of us around the world. I heard this, was telling Kevin, I heard this one newscaster say that there have been more deaths now in the UK than even after World War II. And that's just these are shocking statistics and numbers, and we're just assaulted as human beings with it every single day. And we just want to do our part so we can be back together again with our loved ones and our friends. And again, this is what tonight is all about, just thinking about the future. Yeah. And going forward from there. Speaking of the future, season 4 will air April what? 1st? No,
first weekend.
Oh, I'm like, I can't air on April 1st.
First weekend of April.
Thank you, Farrah.
First weekend of April. Speaking of the future, I know there'll probably be comments, but in my kind of never-ending quest to try to keep elevating our Facebook Lives, we got some sweet NPR-style microphones.
Oh, yes. Exactly. Aren't these nice?
Yeah, I went with the gold model. Samantha, which model did you go with?
I picked the one that my husband bought for me and came via the mail the other day.
Oh, the mail.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. If you excuse me, I'm going to go shake this cocktail. And
These are nice. These are nice microphones.
Excuse me 1 second.
Start my Olivia Newton-John karaoke any minute now. So Kevin's got his special cocktail coming. Let me see who's here. Jeff Rumplick, I've missed you. It's so great to see you. Ellen Fox is here. Lori, Debbie Perry, Colleen Casey. All right. Hi from San Francisco. Why didn't I know you were from San Francisco? I know so much about you, I feel like, and I did not know you were from San Francisco. Great city there. Oh, gosh. Ravi, hey, LLC. I don't know what that means, but hello. Hello from West Virginia. Oh, gosh. Key West. Oh, sorry. So Michelle just watched Key West Travels. That's a good episode. Catherine Ryan, nice to see you again. Daniel Quiterio, how are you? Catarillo, that's what it is. Gosh, I'm just going to make it so that, well, here we go. We start to pronounce things a little better when the liquor flows.
Cheers.
Cheers. Explain to us what this is.
So this is, I was excited about us being back Facebook Live, so I came up with a new cocktail called the Kong Gibson. Oh. And it's doesn't taste anything like a Gibson at all, but it kind of looks like one because I used the lychees instead of onions, which is what a Gibson has.
Thank God.
Has a little cocktail in
it. Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
So it kind of looks like a Gibson, but it's got ginger liqueur in it. It's got lychee syrup, lime juice, and of course gin. So it's a bit throwback to the British gin. The kind of the Asian style ingredients with ginger and lychee.
That's very nice.
Cheers.
I'm a lucky woman. Thank you. Wow, I see so many people, Kevin. It is so great. Everyone's is Carrie Kyler coming? Will she be here?
I don't know.
I hope so. Hi from Sugar Hill, New Hampshire. My son works at Mount Washington Resort. Oh, we go to Schilling all the time. That's a great beer place. Great. My sister I was supposed to go to the Mount Washington Resort in New Hampshire, in the mountain region, just in December. We had plans. I made the plans in June, thinking this would all be over, and I still couldn't go back home to the state of New Hampshire. They wouldn't allow me. So my sister Katie went, and with her my nephew, her son, and had a phenomenal time. But if you've ever seen the New Hampshire episode, you'll see that resort. It's such a special place, and it is not the resort based. The Shining did not base the resort on Mount Washington. That's a big myth. That's totally wrong. They did not. It was another hotel in Colorado, just so you know. We wouldn't do that. We don't do that kind of weird stuff in New Hampshire.
And it was
we're
filmed.
Pretty straightforward.
And it was filmed in Oregon.
And it was filmed in Oregon. That's right.
I forget what it's called, but it's near Portland.
Yeah. Anyway, so great people. Hello from Myrtle Beach, Jen Jones. Hello from Wisconsin, Kansas, Glasgow, Virginia. There's a Glasgow, Virginia?
Wow.
I didn't know that. Do you consider yourself Glaswegians?
Do they headbutt
Glaswegian Virginians? Oh, that's pretty good. Glaswegian Virginians.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, wow.
Pennsylvania. Howdy from Denver. Hi, Glenn. Nice to see you. We'll be going to Colorado. We have plans now in the summer. Now. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Colorado Springs.
Yeah. Syracuse, New York. All right. My alma mater. Oh, this is great. Wow. Lots of people. Hello from Houston. You know how we feel about Houston. We love it. Hello from Cranford, New Jersey, just across the way. Excellent. Phoenix, oh my gosh, everywhere. Across the United States. How is everyone doing? We're doing fine here. Like I said, we are right now in post-production of season 4, the season that we thought would never be, but we did it. We have 5 episodes that will air in April, first weekend of April. Of course, we will keep you much abreast on that information. Mm-hmm. But we're excited. So we've got Quebec City during Winter Carnival. Oh my gosh. Phenomenal place. And we also have upstate New York, Dutchess County, part of the Hudson River Valley. That's an episode. Mm-hmm. We filmed a phenomenal episode, our very last one, like when the walls were closing in down in Lee County, Florida. That's Fort Myers, Sanibel Island, Captiva Island, all the islands that everyone wants to go to. Phenomenal episode there. And then we have a food show as well. And all of season 3, we would do extra scenes that we never showed in the actual episodes, and we saved them. We would save them for this show, the food show. So even though it's from the different locations that we shot at, it's not a compilation show in that we've taken already seen footage. It's all original footage, so we're excited about that show. It's all about food that you haven't seen. And then we're going to have a very special episode where I'm going to give you my best travel tips I've learned over 22 years of traveling. And they're not your typical, get to the airport 2 hours before the flight leaves.
A very special episode with Samantha Brown.
Yeah, that sounds like on a very special. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's what was that? On a very special Blossom, right? Wasn't that? It was always a very special episode for Blossom. That's a nice smile. I like when my husband smiles at me.
Blossom gets me every time.
Okay.
I don't know what that is actually.
You don't know what that show is? All right, well. So it's going to be my best travel tips. Again, just kind of how I approach travel and how I find the really great places and the really great people that we feature, kind of like the filter that goes through. So I'm really excited about that one. And of course, that's born of necessity because we wanted to get one more episode out, but we've got great footage. And I think it's just gonna be, nice to, again, kind of like talk how I talk here, but just give you my absolute best travel tips ever. So that's what we're going to do. Yeah. Mm-hmm. What else is on the agenda? I have a notebook. There's one thing here. It just says update on season 4. So I don't even know why I have this. It makes me look very...
I feel like we did this at midnight. We'd have plenty of time to prepare for this. It's always like a mad rush.
Yeah, put the kids to bed.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. What can you do?
Yeah.
I like it. So, also coming up, hey, listen, we think we're going to be traveling in 2021. We know we are. We've got some pretty crazy, awesome, wonderful trips planned. The first one being, if you want to travel with me, and who doesn't? Just this guy. This guy doesn't want to travel with me anymore. He doesn't. He's done. You can join me on the Rocky Mountaineer in 2021, and this is, of course, the beautiful train ride traversing the Continental Divide through Canada, through the Rockies, over bridges that are like vertiginously high, and through gorgeous mountain gorges, and staying in beautiful hotels along the way too, storied hotels, grand dames, and so that's going to be a really special trip. And then I'm a Waterways Bordeaux 2021 trip. That's going to be wonderful. Departs the 29th. We depart out of, well, I don't know where.
Bordeaux, I guess. Yeah,
we've been in Brooklyn for a long time. Someone asked me like just simple questions about travel. I'm like, where is that? I'm like, oh yeah, sorry. So we'll be there, and that'll be a 7-night cruise.
Yes, 7 nights, and of course I'll be doing my master class of cocktail drinking.
That's right. You
at the bar.
The Ama Waterways actually asked you to be like Isaac the bartender from the Love Boat.
Not the bar. I'm going to be on the receiving side of the bar.
Oh, okay, right.
Showing people how to enjoy cocktails maybe in a different way.
Because you've had such a hard time enjoying cocktails.
Yeah.
Right. But what I'm really excited about the Ama Waterways trip is usually on every Ama Waterways, I'm working, we're with kids, I've got to shoot the next day, and this time, nothing. It's just me and Kevin, hopefully your brother, and my sister-in-law will be there. And it's just enjoying. There's not going to be any cameras that I have to worry about, no kids. So there'll be a lot of drinking of Bordeaux, let me tell you. Yeah, that's going to be fun.
Can't wait.
Yeah, me too. So our first episode we're going to watch, this is kind of a behind the scenes where we give you...
by the way, just if information on how to book all that stuff, talk to a AAA travel advisor. It's all that URL right there.
We'll make it easy for you. Are they? Hello from Bath, Maine, Barbara Proco. I love Bath, Maine. I love Maine. And what I love about it is that they pronounce it Bath there, not Bath.
Oh, well, it's Maine.
Yeah. And don't call it Mount Desert Island.
Yeah,
it's Mount Desert.
All right, so we're gonna get into Hong Kong, right?
Yeah. Trying to think
of one of the questions we always get whenever we do it is always, when did we film this? And we filmed this, it was Easter, late March of 2018. And it's a great time to go to Hong Kong because it could get really hot there in the summer, really hot. And so it was, kind of early spring, and it was warm there, but it wasn't punishingly warm.
Punishingly warm, yeah.
And so we had really nice weather from what I remember.
Oh yeah, it was fantastic. Yeah. And we brought the kids.
Should we
show this to Hong Kong?
Should we show this now or after?
You can show them now.
Right.
Yeah.
So I flew over with the kids, and
that's the jet lag.
Because Sam was doing a show in Palm Springs, and then she flew with the whole crew from LA to Hong Kong, and so got to the hotel, which is the lovely Intercontinental on the harbor there, and
incredible.
Got them in the pajamas. And then we were waiting for Mom to show up. They were very excited. You could see how excited Elizabeth was.
That's the lobby. That's right. That's the lobby. That's not our hotel. And then I came in. Oh, so good. Yeah. I got to tell you, there's nothing worse than knowing that your whole family, everyone you love, is on another flight without you across the ocean. So just seeing you guys again, oh my God. Yeah. That just felt wrong as a mom. I wanted to be on that flight.
And that hotel is the Intercontinental. It's actually closed right now. They're completely renovating it to reopen it as the Regent Hotel.
Is it still closed?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. That was nothing to do with COVID. They'd always plan on redoing it. But we had this awesome room that just overlooked the harbor.
And every night seeing the light show. Yeah. I mean, it was just like, it's one of those don't get used to this, kids.
Yeah. I actually have a great story. So the night before you arrived, I think, I was very concerned about because the first time the kids had ever flown to anywhere that far, to Europe or to Asia, anywhere. So 18-hour, 16-hour flight to Hong Kong, and then being there and just the jet lag. And the first night they went to bed and it was midnight and it was awesome. I was so happy. We had a full day the second day. Sam was coming the next morning. I forget now, but I wake up and like they're all like wide awake and all the lights are on. I'm like, oh, geez, I guess it's time for. I look at the clock and it's 2:30 in the morning. They had both woken up and turned every light on in the hotel room to the point I couldn't figure out how to turn some of them off. And they were having a party.
Did we lose a light?
We lost a light, but I got a spare.
Oh, all right.
Boom.
Jeff Rumplick is asking if this is the Beatnik Facebook Live because we're both wearing black. You know, we live in New York City.
Yeah.
This is our uniform. I'm kidding. I actually wear a lot of bright colors in New York City.
Anyway, one last picture. They're just weird. It's fun that the hotel spreads, the breakfast spreads in the hotels in Asia are amazing.
Yeah.
And the kids, everything they wanted. And
Yuzu donuts.
Yeah, the yuzu donuts were the big hits. But anyway.
That was a big hit for all of us.
Yeah.
Remember all the adults were like, yuzu donuts. Yeah. Yes.
But we had a great time.
Oh my gosh.
A lot of fun.
Yeah.
All right.
Start?
Yeah, let's get going.
Start it.
That's right
Question?
here.
Let's go. Yeah, Betty Thompson, I agree.
I'm in a city that is truly dazzling. Its soaring modern skyline is surrounded by nature in spectacular ways. And one of the joys of the city is seeing it from the epic perspective that nature creates. But even the city's vertical and natural immenseness creates mysteries and subtleties tucked away in corners just waiting to be found. And for those who truly love to wander, you will never be at a loss. An ultra-modern city still wonderfully stuck in its old ways. I'm in Hong Kong, China. I'm Samantha Brown, and I've
it's
traveled
interesting
all
with the,
over this world.
Just keep playing.
And I'm always looking to find the destinations, the
I
experiences,
lost my train of thought now.
and most importantly, the people who make us feel like we're really a part of a place. That's why I have a love of travel and why these are my places to love. Samantha Brown's Places to Love is made possible by...
Of course, a big shout out to our
believe
sponsors
watching the world
because,
go
my
by
goodness, we would
isn't
not be
enough.
able to do any of this, especially
That's why
during
we
this
climb.
time. We all believe so strongly in travel, how it connects us. It connects us to different cultures and people, and it's what we have missed so much. I know the travel industry especially has taken a phenomenal hit, not just corporations and cruise ships and airlines, but people who are concierges and bell people and waiters and waitresses. And so it'll be really great to get back. And so thank you, Alma Waterways, thank you, AAA Travel. I know their travel agents are chomping at the bit to get people, getting people back up and out and enjoying life.
When you first arrive at a city that you've read about your entire life, maybe dreamt of going to your entire life, there's a bit of a reality check because the city no longer lives just in your imagination. It's a real city with real people and buildings and traffic. When you arrive in Hong Kong, though, it's the reality of the city and your imagination because there's an energy here that you've always dreamt that it would have, and this energy picks you up and never lets you go. And the best thing you can do is just let the city take you where it wants to go.
I love the way we open this show because there's such an energy in the streets of the cities of Asia that
Yeah.
For the
It's
Police
hard to
Married
describe.
Quarters, or PMQ, an
felt
old
like I
government
just
building
didn't
that once
describe it.
housed married junior
feel like that
police
whole opening
officers,
was described.
in no way represents the creativity happening inside. It has become a hub of designers and makers from all across the artistic spectrum, but mostly with an emphasis on Hong Kong's own unique heritage.
Are you from Hong Kong?
Yes,
So the city itself inspires you.
yes. I use the Hong Kong, the local culture and the traditional, the items to make our jewelry. We use our Hong Kong, the Victoria Harbour View, the skyline, to make this collection.
I love how you've created the skyline within earrings and on rings here.
Yes.
And this is from the dress.
It's a chipu.
A chipu.
Yes.
And so are you using actual fabric from a chipu?
Yes. Inside the jewelry.
That's beautiful.
Yes.
Because jewelry is passed down to us, right? We get our grandmother's rings.
Oh, yes.
We get our aunt's necklaces.
Yes.
And so you put a little piece of Hong Kong in
Yes.
there. And now you can have that forever.
Yes. So not just the jewelry. This is the deluxe souvenir. Yeah.
Souvenir that lasts.
Yes.
I was eyeing your pearl necklace.
This one we have the two-way. Like this one is the long one.
Oh, let me see.
Right here. Mm-hmm. Yes, for the long one.
And then what
is this right here?
This one is the Star Fairy.
Fairy.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
And other side is the Hong Kong, the Victoria Harbour View.
So this is your latest piece?
Yes.
Good job.
Reluctantly, I managed to drag myself away from the jewelry, and just a few steps away, I found a beautiful little ceramic shop, and there I met one of the founders, Heidi Choi.
So you're one of the owners of the shop.
Oh, yes.
And there's one artist who creates all this beautiful work.
Say that if you just stop it, both Heidi, the ceramicist, and the our jewelry designer, we actually didn't have that lined up.
No.
We walked around that day. We just were like, well, who's going to strike? Who's going to really, kind of stand out? And so these are people who did not know, even like an hour before we shot there, that they were going to be on camera. So it's always nice when people are really open, and it's huge because we've got 2 massive cameras. All of a sudden, we move in, and so to invite us into their shops, really lovely people. So just a little kudos to them.
And what is the aim of her work?
Well, we try to have a tableware, not only that it's beautiful to your eyes and it's functional, we have a lot of design on the lotus root and a lot of design maybe on the flower and on the lotus leaf. But our artists think that the reason why we can see the beautiful flower is the lotus root humbly down in the pond and take the nutrients up to the flower. So it's like a thank you to our parents.
Oh,
it's so lovely, right?
It's the root of love, right? Our parents. So the lotus represents that.
Yes, yes.
I love pottery, and one of the reasons why I love it is it's made by hand.
Yes.
And I feel like when you touch the pottery, you touch someone's work.
Yes.
And so I love how these plates. This has the lotus on it.
Yes.
This has a little broccoli.
Oh yes. This we call the footprint. So we actually print the food on our plate. Like this is garlic.
Garlic, okay.
And this is our favorite dishes.
Chicken wings?
Oh yes, chicken wings. We have millions of recipes how to cook chicken wings, like deep fry or stir fry, a lot. And we love chicken wings.
And it's so different from a lot of what you see in terms of shopping in Hong Kong,
yes.
which is high-end stores on an international scale that you can see in any city, really, these days.
Yes.
This is something very unique.
It's interesting when I realized, and I guess we cut it from the show. I don't remember that we cut that. But when you saw the little broccoli on the plate or the chicken wings, it also is about the idea that in Hong Kong or maybe in all of China, you never eat everything off your plate because it's seen as rude. So if you just leave a little bit on your plate because it tells the host, you have fed me, I am full. If you eat everything, it said you did not satisfy me. So you never eat everything on your plate. Wow. And so that little broccoli is kind of that symbol that there's always something left on the plate, even though you've eaten everything, which I love. Yeah.
Shops in the PMQ is Goods of Desire, a shop that totally celebrates Hong Kong heritage, but with fun and irreverence. Douglas Young is the creator and head designer of the Design Goods shop.
How long have you been designing goods?
Actually, it seems like yesterday, but I started the company more than 20 years ago.
20 years ago.
Yeah.
And what was your mission to start the company?
Well, I just got fed up because Hong Kong is such a special place, and why doesn't more people outside of Hong Kong understand us and get our culture and appreciate what we do? And I guess we just desperately need a brand that's from Hong Kong, that is inspired by Hong Kong, and that's showing the rest of the world how Hong Kong can be cool.
I was going through some of your t-shirts, Douglas, and I feel like you need to be in on a joke.
Okay.
So take me through the joke.
Right.
Honky.
And, honky, that's me. Honky, that's what we call ourselves. It's not an official title, but
Really?
when I go overseas, I say I'm a honky.
I'm a honky, okay.
You must have heard. If you've been to the markets of Hong Kong, if people drop eggs on the floor, they go, dropped. Or you lose a game of Mahjong, I lost. So, it's kind of like an exclamation.
Obviously, there are huge cultural differences between Hong Kong and the rest of mainland China. What are some of the more subtle ones that someone like me wouldn't pick up?
I think the traditional mainland Chinese culture is so much more highbrow, and conventional because theirs is a tradition that's like thousands of years old, whereas Hong Kong was a fishing village about 100 years ago.
Is that
So we're not as kind of grand.
That Douglas runs one of Hong Kong's most
So
successful
I thought that was an unbelievable statement, and I was not expecting what he said. So for me, and just in my understanding of things, I always thought there's mainland China and then there's Hong Kong. And Hong Kong, of course, had a very different history than mainland China. And I thought that there might have been some sort of like that Hong Kongers might feel maybe slightly superior to people in mainland China because they didn't have that communism, that they were sort of British and they had a very different, more free life. And that would give them an air of superiority. And what he was saying is the exact opposite. And that is that that Hong Kongers feel kind of lost because they don't have the 5,000-year history that China has. That for them, and he, when we cut some of the conversation, but he really expanded upon that, just that idea that they have the Great Wall, they have all these things that absolutely inform them of who they are as a people that go back thousands of years. In Hong Kong, we're a fishing village. And I thought that was just fascinating. I just love that little piece because that's what you learn when you talk to people.
I just want to hang out with Douglas.
Oh, Douglas,
he was such
Douglas,
a cool dude.
Yeah. So, and what got us to Douglas though was that my favorite thing to collect in terms of souvenirs. I just get hooked on like cleaning things. So I collect a lot of like dish towels and sponges. I have no idea. I'm not even a very good housekeeper. Don't say anything.
I'm drinking.
But in Hong Kong, they have what's called good morning towels, right? And so I spotted them, and they're just these thin rags. It's a rag, really, but it has good morning written in cursive with a red rooster in the middle, or maybe it's just a red chicken. But it's this really kind of delightful design. It's very simple, and I love them. And I would buy hundreds of them at a time. And the last time I was in Hong Kong before we shot this show, I stayed at a Four Seasons, and I went to the concierge, and I was like, and I had my good morning towels. I'm like, where do I get more of these? And they could not believe I was asking a Four Seasons concierge where to get dish rags. But so Douglas did a whole riff on the good morning towel. Like you could get the insignia, like the label on a coffee mug, t-shirts, and that's what drew us to him. I was like, who does that? So he gets that, and that's what I love is he takes this, Hong Kong culture, this pop culture in a way, and the way that America has kind of this young
kitschy,
culture, kitschy, kind of like if you go and you collect Western wear, a cowboy hat, it's that you go to his shop to understand the real, just like what's happening in Hong Kong now and what the kids and even what the adults do. So it's a great shop. It sort of had a museum quality in terms of informing you about a people.
Yeah.
Design shops celebrating all things Hong Kong isn't the only reason why I'm here.
When do we gossip?
When do we not gossip? Actually, not a lot of people know this, but I'm the author of a book called You Two Can Mahjong.
Who knew?
The word mahjong means literally a sparrow, would you believe? You know the bird, sparrow? And they tend to pick up their food from the ground just with their beaks, right? So when you play mahjong, you're always fishing for the tiles that are open in front of you, like as if your hands are like the sparrow's beak picking the tiles up. You see how quick they are? Look.
Yes, and they have all their fingers working.
I think everybody in Hong Kong plays mahjong, actually. At the age of 4, we learned to play mahjong from our mothers.
Oh.
You see how they all like stick together? You can start by just arranging your tiles
I'm
so
arranging
that they
my
are
tiles.
according to the suits.
Okay.
Yeah, the circles together and the numbers together.
Circles together. So I'm just arranging patterns.
The moment you've successfully collected a winning hand,
Yeah.
you mahjong by going like that to show people, then we will have to pay you.
Nice. Oh, I'm getting mahjong.
Yes! You actually have a very good hand.
Well, what did you expect?
First time lucky. What do you expect?
Yeah. So even though mahjong is you play it seriously, everyone still has fun within it.
I think so, yeah. Although it can get really tense.
Yeah. Families have been separated because of a bad mahjong game.
Not quite. I think mahjong is very important for the society of Hong Kong, for our communities, because so much news and gossip takes place on the Mahjong table. When you're relaxed, when you're having fun, and when you're just facing each other for hours, then news and business inevitably takes place. You live in Hong Kong, you live in a high-rise apartment, you're close to each other. You just hear the Mahjong sounds echoing off the buildings.
I love that. David, I know David's watching that transition.
Hong Kong has a very unique history. It is in the country of China, but was a British colony until 1997. They traditionally speak Cantonese here, not Mandarin like in mainland China. It's a world financial hub, but has its own currency, the Hong Kong dollar. And unlike visiting mainland China, does not require a visa from its visitors. This morning, I'm in one of Hong Kong's oldest neighborhoods, Sham Shui Po. One of the most densely populated parts of the city is where I found one of its best kept secrets.
How many different types of tofu products do you make?
I think we have over 20 types of tofu products in our shop.
So I recognize this one, like tofu squares.
Yeah, it's tofu puff. Yeah.
And then what's that one? That looks fantastic.
This one is for Chinese hot pot.
Okay.
You just put it into the soup for 3 seconds and
Oh,
it's
and then-
tasty. I'm Renee So. I'm the 5th generation owner running this tofu shop in Sam Shui Po neighborhood in Hong Kong. Our shop has been running for more than 60 years.
And all of these products come from one tofu recipe?
Yes, all comes from soya bean.
So how old is the recipe here?
Over 100 years.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
And do you make fresh tofu every single day?
Every 2 hours. Our kitchen operates 18 hours a day.
Oh my gosh.
360 days.
Wow. Time to make the tofu.
This easily overlooked neighborhood is where you can still find traditional Hong Kong tucked into its nooks and crannies. And Renee's little family nook is known for its century-old tofu recipe that begins with soaked soybeans getting liquefied by a stone grinder that's been in operation for 50 years. Once the fiber has been filtered away, it gets boiled in giant copper woks, and then gets filtered again in a cotton bag by hand. Then it's firmed up by adding gypsum powder. Once it goes into these wooden
This is
boxes,
another piece of David Dean magic, because we really didn't have anyone describing this, right, David? This whole process. I mean, she might have touched upon it a little, but we wanted to kind of explore it more. And we knew that the PBS audience would love it, and we couldn't skip steps. And so I believe, if I'm not mistaken, David, that you went back and watched many videos of how to make tofu, just to line up with our shots and see if we had that shot and what we could do, so you could understand the whole process behind her saying that they do this 18 hours a day and they make tofu every 2 hours, another batch. Unbelievable. But so again, a lot of work goes, just finding those shots. And then of course, if this isn't your culture, you're like, what is that? And I remember, like, what are those what is, we're not sure what this is. And of course we could always reach out to people a little later, but it's always a learning process, a fun learning process.
About tofu,
I love tofu, by the way.
I've had tofu I didn't like when it's slimy and kind of weird. Mm-hmm. But then you go to Asia and there's so many different ways they make tofu. Mm-hmm. Where this was basically a pudding, a sweet dessert.
Well, we haven't gotten there yet.
Oh yeah. But you have it fried and it's awesome. Like there's so many different amazing ways to have tofu.
That dipping, like when it was like kind of like a crunchy churro looking thing, and she said you dip this in soup. Oh my god!
Yeah,
That's
so it's
so
like
good.
Amazing the different ways that they kind of enjoy tofu, and it's definitely something to check out when you're in Asia.
and the excess liquid is pressed out, the tofu is ready, and it's used to make a huge variety of specialties, including what is considered to be the city's best version of this.
Fresh tofu pudding.
This is what you're known for.
Yes.
How do you order it? Like, is this? Can you order it with different condiments?
Usually we put the cane sugar on top. Yes.
Just dig in.
Yes. Can you try?
This is just comfort food. So
So
lovely.
just go back.
It's very
when
simple.
she looks at me like
The
that,
city's
you
best
might,
version
when we
of
do like
this.
reels of the show, David knows I always put that shot in because the way she's watching me, and then when she sees that I like it,
Usually
it's
we
a
put the
beautiful,
cane
like that to
sugar
me
on
is
top.
like what we go for in this show. It's just real. You'll see it. Okay, here we go.
Yes.
It's very subtle, but it's so real. And you'll hear it, see it now, and just let it
This
play.
is just comfort food.
Yeah,
so
just her
lovely.
little eyes, how they kind of
It's very
just
simple,
like lit up.
healthy food.
Yeah,
So
for
this
me, I
is
was
a
like,
sort of
oh,
Hong Kong
my
style
favorite,
Yes.
tofu pudding?
one of
In
my
Hong
favorite
Kong,
shots of all.
people
for years.
prefer eating the tofu pudding with sugar, but people from Shanghai, they like to put soy sauce.
As a dessert?
Yes.
Do you get all types coming in here?
Yes, we have all types of people coming to our shop. I think they come here not just for the pudding itself, they come here for their childhood, history, and they also want to have a look of the old Hong Kong as well and teach the next generation about the history. And also they want to try the tofu pudding. So I try my best to keep the business running because I really want more people to know about the history of Hong Kong and also can have a taste of it, not just seeing the pictures in the museums. But in the tofu, you can taste the old Hong Kong.
This is what people want to come and see, how people really live,
Yeah.
how people go about their daily lives.
I always hope more people in Hong Kong can keep the old traditional food business keep running because it also represents Hong Kong. So if more people can keep running the old business, I think it will make our society more diverse.
In the nearby Prince Edward district, I met up with a local who introduced me to a very different Hong Kong tradition by taking me to Yuan Po
Me and
Gardens.
Fred. I didn't realize that. We're both wearing
is for
dark
the
jeans and a
birds.
light.
So are the men selling the birds or are they pets?
The pet. Okay, they hanging the birds in the iron bar, and they enjoy. They're watching it. They're listening to the golden voice.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they bring their own birds here, their own pets, so they can hang out together, the guys can hang out together, and the birds can hang out together. And I love how this park is actually built to hang bird cages on.
Yes. This is only bird garden in Hong Kong.
This is the only one of its kind
Yes.
in Hong Kong. Wow. How old is this hobby?
Like 500, 800 years.
At the Yuan Po Bird Garden, you can get all your birding accessories, cages, feeders, essential nutrients. For many of these men, caring for birds is a lifelong passion.
我姓劉嘅，玩因為姓阿劉咧，劉布，但係玩雀咧就係一種。
So, I had the pleasure of scouting this episode, so I got to go there a month earlier and spend 4 or 5 days kind of checking things out. And this is a scene I had wanted to do because I had been to the bird garden before, and it was just something that was just, you really feel like you're in a very special place when you see these birds and just how the reverence that the people that keep the birds as pets and they treat them so well. And then I met this guy, Mr. Lau, and I was like, I have never, whenever you travel overseas, there's always this thing because I don't speak Cantonese, I don't speak Mandarin, and you meet people that don't speak English, and you could tell that they're polite, and you're trying to be polite, and they're excited about you, and you're excited about them. And there's a kind of international language there, but I wanted to hang out with Mr. Lau.
Mr. Lau is cool.
He just seemed like he had a lot to say, and I wish I could have, spoken with him. Really, instead of a translator, but it was a fun afternoon meeting him, and it was fun when we filmed with him.
He was great.
擺咗600幾年嘅。
Joseon, what is more important to Mr. Lau? The look of the bird, the beauty of the bird, or the sound of the bird?
雀咧，佢家啲雀咧有起有落嘅。起嘅時候咧，聽把聲。
Okay. Mr. Lau can tell the bird where he's happy or not happy. He can tell from his face and also from his singing.
So the look of the bird is most important.
Okay.
Because it's the health.
Yeah.
It's not long before Mr. Lau is showing us pictures of not birds or grandchildren, but his cage collection. Over 30 strong, with artistic detailing, all are considered exquisite antiques. Even the porcelain bowls used as feeders are a point of collector's pride.
I love the porcelain cups. They're beautiful.
我仲有啲明朝嘅，家呢啲係清朝嘅。
Even though he got the collection from Ming Dynasty instead of Qing Dynasty.
I don't know my dynasties here in China, sorry.
That means it's like 400, 500 years.
400
Starting
years
from
old.
like 100 to 400 years.
Wow. But does his wife share the same passion for birds?
你太太係咪都唔中意雀仔？
唔係。
Oh no.
Oh no. So the real story about Mr. Lau and the fact that the reason why his wife didn't like it is I guess their apartment was overrun with birds and bird cages, and he had to like get a separate spot for all the cages, and his wife had it. So I'm like, oh, that's very much like our marriages in the United States as well.
He showed me a bird cage that was made from the skeleton and shell of a turtle. It was just like, yeah, we're not showing that.
Yeah,
on
we
camera.
can't show that one. Yeah, exactly.
Like, I'm sure this was created hundreds of years ago, so it wasn't like recent, but it was still like,
Yeah, yeah. Thanks. Next.
When I'm in a destination for more than 3 or 4 days, one thing I really love to do in order to slow my travels down is to create a ritual. I like to find what's going to be my place, and I'm going to return to it often. And people think I'm crazy for doing this because, like, oh my gosh, we've got to go to different places every single meal, and every meal's got to change our life, right? And I just don't believe in that. So I always find the place that I'm going to begin my day at, have breakfast.
This is Shui. It's what's called a tea restaurant here in Hong Kong. And with many locations around the city, it is the opposite of one of a kind. And yet, it's a reliable local spot with little wait where one can enjoy a good meal.
What you see here is Hong Kong on a plate. Literally the history of Hong Kong. So we've got some beef noodles for breakfast, but with the beef noodles come scrambled eggs and a nice buttered roll, and of course, a cup of tea. And I love that. Travel requires like incessant thinking, right? What am I gonna do today? How am I gonna get there? Is it gonna rain? Do I need to bring sunscreen? Do I leave in 3 days? Did my upgrades come through? And like, I just want my brain to stop. And the way that I do that is I return to a place that's familiar, and it gives me comfort, and then I just relax. And I get to eat noodles with a fork.
So that Shui Wah place, that's in central Hong Kong, the neighborhood of Central, and I've been going there for years. That's the first place I would go whenever I came to Hong Kong. Because there's a period of time where I was going to Hong Kong every few months for work, and I love that place. And it was really run down like a kind of a gritty New York diner deli kind of place, and when I went there to scout, they had just renovated it, and it was really nice and clean and modern. And it's like,
you wanted it to be
kind
a
of
little
takes
bit...
away a little bit of it, kind of, but
it's the Hong Kong version of Denny's. Like
kind of,
if Denny's kind of revamped as well. If you went
Yeah.
into like a nice new Denny's, right, and got your moons over my hand event.
But it's great also for late night. I mean, they have a huge menu. Like it's like 50-page menu. Anything you want, what you're feeling like you can get there. But the breakfast special, which is what you eggs, a buttered roll, a thing of noodles with some meat, and a coffee. I actually was staying in a really nice hotel that had an amazing breakfast spread, and I would skip that to go pay $5 for that breakfast.
Yeah. Well, I think Jeff Rumbling was just asking, so you're here having breakfast in your spot. Where was the kids' spot? The kids would have...
Well, they would have their...
They would have room service at the hotel.
Oh, the big buffet. Remember?
Oh yeah, well that's true. Yeah, they would get that. We'd get that one too. Yeah, those were high bills.
Yeah.
So we had to eat at the diner, at the tea restaurant. Kids.
Another ancient Chinese tradition very much alive in Hong Kong is Feng Shui.
I'm Kirby Craig. I'm an advisor and consultant for businesses and residential in accordance to Feng Shui principle, which is natural science.
So Kirby, right now we're in central Hong Kong, surrounded by some of the most important businesses in the world.
Right.
So that building right there has been built with the principles of Feng Shui?
Yes, definitely.
How?
Well, they pick the right spot, like I say. When the energy flow down, it flow down to the spot. So they have their own setting on how to harness the energy to bring the energy up to the buildings. Okay.
So you're saying that the architect had a feng shui master to plan the position of the building?
Yeah, they openly admitted this. Okay. If you look at the underground,
yes,
it's blank. Okay.
There's space under it.
Right. This is how they attract the 5 dragon energy.
The 5 dragon energy. What is that?
Right, the 5 mountains of Hong Kong.
Oh, and they're all dragons.
We call it dragons.
Don't fly around.
They don't fly around. They just produce the energy for the spot.
Okay, so it's got a lot of stuff.
Right.
Does that have to do with the principles of feng shui?
That's for aesthetic reason only. Not everything is related to feng shui.
And yet, you'd be amazed when it is, like a building covered in a cage to protect it from the bad energy of another building that is shaped like a knife, or simple doorways that are angled away from the unkind energy created by zooming traffic.
Where's the bad energy coming from?
Energy coming down from the drastic flow of energy. You see the road here emerge.
And there's a decline too.
Right, decline. The energy is rushed and disturbed.
What does feng shui?
Sorry to interrupt you, but so when I met him in his office and we started talking, it was exactly what I wanted for the scene because it was just this idea
interesting.
that the smaller buildings and people design their houses and rooms and stuff, but the idea that these massive skyscrapers that are known around the world were built with this sensibility in mind. But when we walked out of his office, which was that shot, that earlier shot, that kind of smaller street, and he just started pointing things out, and it was just like the whole world had opened up to me.
Yeah, exactly.
That on one side of the street, every doorway came straight out, perpendicular to the road on one side, and on the other side, every doorway was at an angle, so that the energy would not come up from the street. And it was like, you see that, like you think one building is that way. Every building was following the same principles.
And I think like when I really started believing in the principles of feng shui is when I traveled, and I'm sure you feel the same way when you walk into a hotel room and all of a sudden you're not comfortable. There's something about it. You're not able to relax. And yet other hotel rooms, you're like, oh, this feels comfortable. And I just feel like it's where the energy's coming from. Maybe there's no view, right? So you don't get good sunlight. The bed is in the wrong place, and your body feels that. So I absolutely feel how a room's energy can, just change the way, change the way I am. Definitely.
What do they mean? Literally, what is the translation?
Well, the word feng shui means wind and water.
Wind and water.
Wind and water.
Okay. Is it a principle? Is it a philosophy? Is it a religion?
Well, it is everything put into one. Okay. Put it this way, we try to aim a spot, a place that live harmoniously with the nature.
We are still in Hong Kong.
Kirby had given me an entirely different way to get to know and understand Hong Kong. And harmonizing with nature turned out to not be difficult at all.
SK, it is amazing to me that we are just an hour outside of Hong Kong. I mean, I feel like I was, we traveled 5 days to reach this point. But that's what I'm going to tell my friends.
The good thing is you don't see any sort of the man-made structure. Looking at all the 180 degrees, you only see greens and the natural woods. I'm SK Shum.
I'm Galia Shum.
And I'm the founder of Hong Kong Hiking Meetup. And I would say the Hong Kong largest hiking group.
Are all your trails accessible by public transportation?
Yeah, 90% will be, yeah, very much.
That is amazing. That is so unique. I mean, that just doesn't exist anywhere else.
Hong Kong has over 100 trails to discover, and the Hong Kong Meetup has over 1,800 hikes every year. All trails are open to the public and easily accessible from downtown Hong Kong.
Very risky drone shot right there.
Very risky.
When I saw that, I was like, I don't know if I would approve that if I was there for the scene.
Yeah. I'm glad you weren't there then.
When you're a traveler in a foreign country, most of the people you come in contact with are there to serve you. I took this hike to explore a different side of Hong Kong, but also to enjoy the locals in their downtime.
So SK, when did you found this hiking group?
Oh, 2005.
2005.
Yeah.
Well, that's a long time ago.
Yes, 13 years.
13 years, and how many people are part of it?
When you were started?
Yeah.
Or 4 people?
Four people?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now we are closing in the 22,000.
22,000 people?
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. I didn't create it intentionally.
Okay.
The group grew organically, so that the people start referring friends. And, social media helps a great deal.
And that's how I found out about you. And I'm always asked, how do you meet other people when you go to these places? This to me seemed like a perfect way.
Perfect way.
Yeah, to meet people.
And it's a perfect way for do matching too. We do have a lot of relationship come out the hiking activities.
Is that right?
Yes.
Is it hard to be a Hong Konger and meet other people?
Hard for me.
Hard for you. Okay.
I haven't had a chance yet.
Well,
Her standard is too high.
Her standards are too high. My gosh. Do you think most Hong Kongers know that they have this access to their city?
One of my joys is taking people who've been born in Hong Kong, raised in Hong Kong, out on hikes like this, and they go, wow, I had no idea.
Yeah, right.
Really, and they're just astounded that in their own backyard was this incredible countryside, which is about 40% of Hong Kong is our countryside. They're just amazed.
Like every metropolitans in the world, the living pace is always fast and people are workaholic. But to strive for balance of life is so nice. We have this space, this green, and all this great nature where we can share and we enjoy the fellowship together with people and with nature.
I love my friends, my neighbors in this area. Everyone is very friendly. We know each other, and we also know their parents, their kids. Yeah, I think this strong relationship represent the old Hong Kong. Yeah, although we are very busy, but we care each other.
Hong Kong has the greatest energy. It's a place that is really buzzing. I think, if you're interested in nightlife, food and fashion and shopping, all this sort of exciting stuff, you must come to Hong Kong.
When a city still amazes, whether it's your first time there or your 10th. When its dragon energy encourages you to explore its busy streets as well as its unknown paths. When the people are happy to help you enjoy the mystery and subtlety of a massive metropolis. That is when we share a love of travel, and that's why Hong Kong, China is a place to love.
Yeah, so
For
great.
more information about this
I haven't
and
seen
other
this episode
episodes,
in many
destination
years,
guides,
and,
or
it's
links
great
to-
being back, and it's interesting with the Hong Kong hiking meetup. I was looking for something. How do we meet up with people? And it's called the Meetup, right? And it's on. I don't know if it's not Facebook driven.
I think they have their own website,
yeah,
like a
website
mailing list thing or something.
And so you can meet up for all kinds of things. You can meet up if you're biking. You can meet up, and it's in every single city, and it's just meet up. So you can. So I was like, well, why don't I use that? And so I reached out, and because I love hiking, and I thought one thing I love about Hong Kong is how natural it is. There were so many different things we scouted for this.
And to take you on a hike.
Enda took me on a hike.
We had a very good friend of ours that
yep.
lived in Hong Kong for a while, and when Sam was visiting.
Yeah, and then I think in a prior Hong Kong episode that I did with Travel Channel, we went to, is it Lantau Island?
Yep.
Does that make sense?
Lantau.
Yeah, and then you can hike along the China Sea. And I was just like, oh my gosh, this is all considered Hong Kong. And it's not like you're driving 3 hours to get to it. Like I said, it's all public transportation. But SK is so lovely, isn't he? And he and his wife. And I remember reaching out to him. I'm like, I'm this girl on this show. Here's a link to one of my shows. Would you want to do this? And he was like, yeah. And he was officially, originally he was not able to do that. Mm-hmm. And it was going to be the leader. I'm like, if you could be there, if we could really have the person who started this all, that would be wonderful. But there's many different, so if you ever go to Hong Kong, absolutely do a meetup hike. The hiking guides are fantastic. I think they have to do like 1,000 hours of hikes before they're actually a hiking leader. So everything is led, and even though it's totally free, you are led. So you won't get lost. You won't get. But it was just it was a great trip. But because there's always a but. One of my pet peeves, and I should say my production nemesis, is the leaf blower. It doesn't matter where we are. There was when we did Dutchess County just a few months ago, and the leaves hadn't fallen yet. Remember, we were all set to do and then a leaf blower, a guy with a leaf blowing machine just walked by.
Wasn't even running. He was just like walking by with a leaf blower, like he knew we were there.
I found it mildly threatening.
Yeah.
I really did.
Yeah.
He was just like, I know you're here. You're starting a production.
You.
And so we're doing when that scene where we're all kind of standing in the ravine talking, and we hear this noise, and we're all like, what is that? What is that noise? And we're like, what is that? I mean, and we're like a good hour and a half.
You're in the middle of nowhere.
In the middle of nowhere, and roll tape. Well, I think did I take this?
So I just want to point this out to you. Whenever we're shooting, we have
leaf
a problem
blowers,
with the
leaf
sound.
cutters.
Like we'll be somewhere and a leaf blower will start. We took
And so
a 2-hour
they literally
hike
came out
into the
of-
mountains in the Hong Kong, and we actually came
just
upon.
take the sound down. Yeah. And it was all of a sudden a team and what they're doing is clearing the path, keeping them clean. And SK had never seen them before in his life. He's like, I had no idea they did this. And isn't that wonderful? Because it does mean they're maintaining. But we actually had to, because we waited to see how long it would take, and they were taking a while. And so we sent SK to go talk to him. Please just stop, please. But I was like, what do we have to do just to get like an hour of no leaf cutting, leaf blowers, lawn care. But anyway, so that's all right. I'm done ranting, but fun. We got a lot of great comments. I know a lot of people love hiking. Carrie Kyler asked, I hope you got some of those cups from the tea restaurant. I always forget that Shiwa. I did. Yep. I got 2 of them. I actually asked them at the restaurant. I'm like, can I buy some of these? And they're like, buy them? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, no one's ever asked if you could buy little teacups with cute little smiley faces on them. That can't possibly. And you know how much I love tea. So they rustled some up, and so I have 2. I have 2. So I should have had them tonight. I should have been drinking my wine tonight. Jeff Rumplick asked a great question when I was talking about when we were in the police marital quarters. Where all the artists are, how we just kind of randomly went up to people and kind of liked what they were doing. He asked, do we get them to sign our waivers first, or do we let the scene play out and then say, hey, can you sign our releases? Because anybody on camera in the United States anyway there has to be a release. They are releasing their image to camera. And so, yes, as soon as we know, Jeff, that we think we want to even start rolling our cameras, we go in for the release right away. That happens before even there's an action, because it's so important legally that we have permission to be there. So yeah, the release, the first comes, hey, this would be nice, and second, could you sign a release for us? And then they sign, and then we start rolling. So other good questions. Regina back at the beginning asked how is the Swedish fish supply? It's still pretty full. I have not digged into that. And Lori Anderson asked when I was doing the tofu pudding, she asked the best question of all. And I want to point it out because it's very telling of how terrible I am at my job sometimes. What does it taste like? Lori, great question. It's very neutral, and it's more of the texture. It's just very soft and it's soothing, and you just get a hit of that sugar or whatever the topping is. But I would say that the taste itself is pretty neutral. It doesn't even taste like vanilla. But why I point out that question is why didn't I say that? And this is where like I'll watch things, I'll be like, oh, like just tell people what it tastes like. Why can't you? So that's me fighting with me. So I thought that was a great question, and I will try to remember that as I go on as a host. 22 years, maybe in my 23rd year of being a host on camera, I will remember to mention what things taste like.
Well, in defense,
yes,
that tofu place had so many different kinds of tofu that it was kind of overwhelming with the different. You know, you could have sweet tofu, you could have savory tofu, you could have fried tofu. It was a lot.
I will also say whenever I'm eating on camera, it's a lot to juggle because you're trying to have a good conversation with someone and you want to be aware of the signals they're sending you. Because for me, it's more about the conversation than what I'm eating. I know that sounds strange. And so the eating for me is secondary, and I always forget. I also I'll choke a lot. So I'll be like, so anyway, it's actually hard to eat, talk, and hold a conversation and know that there are cameras on you. And for some reason, 22 years, I feel like I should be good at this now. So I always like to pick on myself.
Michael Nelson asked a great question. Do we ever visit a restaurant while taping and love it so much we go back there a second time?
Oh, yeah.
That happens a lot. I
Yeah,
can't think of an example, to be
Yeah.
honest. But because I think there's two reasons. One is that we know it's a great place because we've been there. But second, a lot of times, we're in and out so fast, we don't have a chance to really enjoy things. And certainly, you might be eating on camera, but no one else is. And so, because I've been there with the crew, everyone's like, can we come back here? This looks awesome.
Yeah.
And then we'll go back and have a big meal and enjoy it.
Yeah, I agree.
That happens a lot. I'd say that this episode was tough because Hong Kong. There's so much we didn't we didn't have time to do. There's so much so many story angles that at one point I was thinking about maybe we would just do the Hong Kong Island only, which is one district. It's the more Britishy side of Hong Kong. And then leave the rest of it kind of for another episode in future. We really didn't do a lot of food. We really just did the, but I think you could do an entire episode just on food. It'd be so easy to do there. There was a place down, not far from, on the same side of the harbor as where the tea restaurant was, where as we were just kind of walking around, I was kind of with a tour guide for the day. He mentioned that on this particular building there used to be a big signpost that when the big migration of Chinese workers that went to California in like the gold rush days and the railroad and all that, there was every week they would put postings of kind of news, and if basically everyone would go down there and see if any of their loved ones had died, because it was the only way they got that information back.
Their loved ones who were in the United States?
Yeah, they'd gone to California or gone to help build the railroads. And
my God.
It was just this place that people would go in because that was
just to get news.
Yeah, it was just like
wow, painful.
Wow.
Right?
You always think of immigration on kind of our side of things and people coming here, but there's a whole that's emigration of when people leave.
Yeah,
and what that does to the people they leave behind.
The another fun story was Fred became a good friend of ours, and he is a tour guide, and he kind of took us out. I remember the first night we arrived in Hong Kong, we all went out to dinner outside. Remember, it was the big round table. It was just a great place, and
Stand by.
they like a lot of they play a lot of drinking games, right? And they drink, and I don't. Kevin does, but it was funny because we were talking just about our cultures. That's what's really great meeting people in different countries, is we kind of we're inquisitive of each other's culture. And of course they were asking if we had any solo cups. They love the whole American Red solo cup thing. And I'll never forget when we were in the van with Fred, and I was like, oh my God, Fred, it just dawned on me. I'm like, ping pong, born in China, red solo cup. I'm like, do you know what the ultimate drinking game in the United States is? It's pong, and like bouncing a ping pong ball into a solo cup, and then you have to drink the beer. I'm like, that's our two cultures coming together in a beautiful way. And he was like, what? This is wonderful. So I wonder if he's playing Pong. I'm like, take that idea, introduce it to Hong Kong, like make a bar where you play Pong. What, it's called Pong, right? No, beer pong. See, I'm not a big drinker, but I'm like, make millions and billions of dollars just having a drinking game and creating that yourself with red solo cups. But I think you guys know what the red solo cup is. Like, when people really, this is such like a symbol of America, just pastime, having fun outside. We should have pictures of it. You can't find any?
I saw it earlier today.
Oh gosh! Yeah. All right, because that was a great. That was a great night because it was just right away, and usually you're exhausted when you come in from flights. And a couple of people mentioned this, just how friendly the people in Hong Kong seem, and yes, they are. They're just as a whole, just very open. The fact that we could walk into that artistic mall and just kind of ask people if they wanted to go on camera. There's very few places that we actually would do that. And I think our plan was that I was just going to walk around and we were going to focus on Douglas's shop. But when we started to see all this other great works and great little storefronts, we decided just to kind of open up. So it was really nice that we were able to just kind of acclimate and go with the flow. But some great pictures there. I remember our first day in Hong Kong when I was finally with the kids. And of course the kids are getting up at 3 a.m. and thankfully there was a little playground across the way and we'd go there at 5 a.m. But it was the
Bruce Lee.
Bruce Lee statue is there. But at the end of the day I was totally exhausted and my kids were done and they were crying and I looked at how many steps we had done, on your phone, how they capture your steps. 25,000 steps. And we had our 5-year-olds did that.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh. So when I say when you arrive, you just get swept up. There's so much energy. It's not like if you arrive at any European city, which is so, I just always want to go to sleep when I get to Europe because I'm so tired. But anything in Asia, whoa, it's phenomenal. It's a great place. Any other good questions?
I think one of the other things that's special about Hong Kong is the harbor, being on the water.
Yeah, we didn't do the Star Ferry.
We shot it, didn't we? We didn't use it?
No, we didn't.
Oh, that's right. We were going to, and they were just getting more and more difficult with filming there, and so we ended up bailing on it. I thought we shot it, and we didn't. I didn't want to just do the Star Ferry to do the Star Ferry because you could just shoot it going across the lake. Who can we talk to that really understands the meaning of this ferry? Who can we? Because that's my approach to anything. Okay, it's one thing just to show a major tourist event or something that everyone does. Let's get to the bottom of it. Let's have a more personal idea of why this is special. And so we wanted to talk to one of the captains or whatever. Yeah. And it's just one of those things where they didn't get what we were going for, and then they just didn't want to give us any time. And so we're like, okay, that's all we need to know. If this is not what you want to do and you don't care, we appreciate knowing this ahead of time and not when we get there with everyone. There's some places we filmed where that would have been catastrophic because we leave a big hole in our shooting schedule, and it was we had so many awesome things to cover. It was okay, well, we'll do that instead. Something else because there was so many great things that we had for that.
Yeah, so I feel like you guys know what the Star Ferry is, and you don't need a travel show at this point telling you. What else? Oh, yeah, I was going to say, if you could put it on this end.
Apologies that Facebook changed their API and it broke our integration with our software, so I can't post the questions on here anymore, which is kind of a bummer.
Mm-hmm. Oh gosh, I just was going to say something and then... But I would say that, someone gave them Meetup, Jeff.
Meetup.
You're rising to the best assistant I could have. I appreciate that. So that's how you do it. And it's wherever you are, you can meet up with people who have like-minded interests as you. But I feel like the overall theme of our Hong Kong show was sort of old Hong Kong. Kind of other than the PMQ. Did we describe what the police marital quarters was? What that building was?
Yeah, I think you said at the beginning.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So a lot of the old school, because Hong Kong, of course, you could spend all your time on new things and new buildings and new stuff. But
what's funny about Hong Kong is the first time I went there was in 1996, I think, and the waterfront of Hong Kong then is the buildings that were on the water, I should say, are now not on the water because they filled it in and put new buildings in front of them. So it's just so much growth there that Singapore's the same way as well. It was just they build waterfront and then they just keep going. It's.
So Stephanie Cobb says, in your absence, I've been watching Rick Steves' Monday Night Travel. Rick's great, but your live event is the best. Thank you so much. What does he do? We have to watch his. We got to see. Well, we've got to see what that Rick Steves is up to.
There might be some Rick Steves.
Yeah. There's definitely Rick Steves in my future.
Yeah.
And the Monday night thing. We've been talking and how we can get together and maybe even do a show together. How do we do that? Because wouldn't that be fun to see me and Rick Steves together?
Yeah.
He is a great guy. He's one of the best. He is the best. He's the best person in travel. Absolutely. Yeah. Do you know that Rick Steves gave $4 million of his own money to build a women's shelter in his hometown in Washington State, outside of Seattle? Yeah, $4 million of his own money. That's a great guy to help homeless women and children.
Yep.
Don't get better than that.
Did we try dim sum? I don't. The weird thing about Hong Kong is that dim sum has kind of gone out of style there. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Really?
But like all the old dim sum parlors, they're almost gone now.
But you know where we did go?
The old style ones. I mean, you still can get dim sum. I'm not saying you can't, but it's like the iconic places. There's
we
not
went
many
to
left.
a special dumpling house where they made all the dumplings in tiny little adorable animal shapes. There were like little turtles, little dumpling sheep, little dumpling pigs, because we wanted to get our kids excited about, what is a foreign food to them. Did they appreciate it? No. They had hamburgers and French fries for the rest of the trip. But while we were there, we had some really, these dumplings were adorable. I don't remember if they tasted good.
They were
okay.
Well, honestly, I think we got the kid-friendly ones, which weren't maybe the most interesting.
Okay, all
That's
right.
probably the best way to say it.
Yep.
I have pictures of this. I know I do, because I saw them earlier.
Yeah. The dumplings?
Yeah.
Because they're really, really
so much
adorable.
fun. There we go.
Okay, there you go. Oh, gosh. I mean,
come on.
That's adorable.
Look at wait,
oh, yeah, that was the better
okay.
one. Oh, my,
look at
my God. Adorable. Look at the little hot dogs in the back, and it's like, is that a snail? It's a little conch shell,
Yeah.
and oh my gosh, so adorable.
And I did find the picture of that drinking game thing that we were
There's
trying
our
to figure
drinking
out.
game.
There's Brian Miller there on the right, and
Our amazing
great
DP and
second
David
Kevin-
Tong.
David Tong, yeah.
Phenomenal. Good. We have good friends over there, Kevin O'Leary. We're darn lucky.
Yep.
So in terms of food, gosh, I don't remember a lot of that place we went to. It was great. I mean, it was just basic, but But again, for us, it's like for a film crew, it's just what can you feed me in fast so I can go to sleep, or we can go back to work. When we go to places where it takes a long time to get lunch, it's death. It's just like, oh my gosh, just let's get a roll and a Coke and just eat on the side of the street. So because once you like totally relax, it's so hard to get back up again. So we don't, we probably could eat at better places, but it's like eating for sustenance. And
Yeah, I mean, I think the nearest hotel that we could easily get a table for a large group was a German place, actually.
Yeah.
I think we went there 2 nights because it was like easy, get beers, and we were a group of like 8, and we tried one time to get it. It just was easier to go there. But I remember around the corner from the hotel, you guys were filming. I was working, and it's like, I'll get some lunch. I'm hungry, and I saw this ramen place. And ramen's kind of a big deal in Hong Kong, at least it was then, even though it's Japanese. And there was this huge like area of that people would be waiting in line. There was no one there. I'm like, wow, this is great. So I get there. And I walk past all this kind of roped off areas where people would be waiting in line. And I get there thinking like, wow, I'm going to get this amazing ramen thing, and now I have to wait. And that was still a 45-minute wait.
Holy mackerel. Yeah.
So it would have been 3 hours.
Yeah, I don't have...
If it had been a busy...
I don't have any patience for that.
Not doing that.
Yeah. I mean, and if I was there as a traveler, definitely. But if I'm there to work...
Yeah,
I'm
but
like,
that's the thing. Long, hard days, and we just need to eat.
Yeah, exactly. Rick always, Susan Williamson says Rick always has a drink and snacks.
Well, I've been pulling my weight on the drink side.
All right, I'm gonna have hors d'oeuvres our next one.
See, you didn't even drink it.
Luann Edwards, do you plan your own wardrobe selections during the tapings? Great question. I don't. I have a phenomenal stylist and makeup artist, Christina Burns. She has been my makeup go-to woman. I can't live without her for, 12 years now. I don't know why I'm looking at you. I should know this. But yeah, she's been at my side, just making me look beautiful again. So when I'm not with her, you can see I'm in a turtleneck. Just like, it's as basic as it gets. She would have had a cute little jacket over this, I'm sure, definitely. So yeah, Christina Burns.
Cindy Scaglione asked what the bar scene's like in Hong Kong. And I actually scouted a few bars. And it was just like, we didn't need it. There was so many great things that, there was a American woman that had opened a really cool cocktail bar that was interesting. And they have a lot of kind of, the not just in Hong Kong, but in Japan, there's some of these bars where it gets very technical and the bartenders are doing very specific things, different kinds of ice for different cocktails. And it's really cool. Mm-hmm. But, again, we're definitely going to be going back to Hong Kong one day and doing another show. And I'm sure maybe we'll feature that then.
Nice. All right. So, anything else? It's 10:15. Wow.
Just
flies by, guys. Flies by. I hope our kids are asleep. Those are fantastic dumplings. I know. Aren't they amazing? They're adorable. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's a great place to. I think we did like a little research on that. Oh, but I mean, and so the rest of the time, because we've had our amazing nanny with us. She's been in our lives for close to 8 years now. So she was with us in Hong Kong because we have to have help, obviously, and they would get room service for dinner, and they would be, what was the room service was like these cars that had, it was a choo-choo train with dry ice, and it would be like chicken nuggets and French fries in this train, and then
like
the dry ice would come out of and then if it was a car, it would come out of the hood, and like I'm just like, enough of the $35 chicken nuggets and French fries, guys. Like, go out, and go out and have some food in Hong Kong. So anyway, so you try. So many people ask me like, how do you get your kids to try great things? And you just in the end they eat French fries. You can't, and that's what they do.
I mean, the first night we were there, I was like, we're gonna, I had this dream that we were gonna be eating, Chinese food the whole time, and they were starving. I brought them to a Chinese place, and they were like, "Nope, not the first night."
Yep,
I mean,
yep.
They got there in the end. They started eating more, but it was, they were 6 then. So
So someone might have already asked this, but what are the plans for upcoming shoots and travel summer and fall? I mean, we are full steam ahead, guys, and I understand it. We understand that at points we have to push back travel. Today, I just got that they've extended. No, we can't go to Canada. We can't go to Mexico. We can't go to Mexico. What does that mean? I don't know what that means. Anyway, but I mean, just like the travel advisories. But no, we have plans beginning in at least April, right?
Yeah, I'm thinking early April. Maybe late March.
We'll start to ramp up again, and then a lot in the fall when we know. But I feel very confident about. Someone also said a cruise. In July, good luck. It's not a big cruise. These are river cruises. They stay close to the land. They actually never leave it. So there's a lot more going for it than that. Yeah, I agree. Like a big cruise, I don't know if I'd be on one of those just yet. But no, I think we're really hopeful, because along with the vaccine, and we all know that even this summer with the vaccine, we're still probably going to be cautious, right? But there's testing. The testing will get better, and we'll get through this. Mm-hmm. And I do believe that. I see it here, and it's tough. I'm not trying to put a silver lining on this.
No, and we're
just
not traveling.
We're not traveling. We're definitely down. And we did have a chance to travel in January. Well, now, and we were just like, oh no. So yeah, but we have really great plans for season 5, and we hope to start them up in April. Yeah. And we'll shoot there. And someone also asked if we're going to be doing these every Thursday. Yes, we are.
And why is that? Why not Wednesday?
Why not Wednesday? I don't know.
Because I got curling.
Oh, okay. Kevin's a curler.
Yeah, my curling's Wednesday night. I got priorities.
Yep,
so we moved it to Thursday.
You moved it to Thursday. Sorry, guys. You've been kicked to the curb. And so we will see you next Thursday.
Which is Palm Springs.
Palm Springs. Nice. Yeah. That's right. We went Palm Springs to Hong Kong. Now we're going to Hong Kong to Palm Springs. Thank you so much. Again, I feel like everyone came back, and we really appreciate it. Yeah. Really, really do. It's just great to see all of you, and we will see you next Thursday. Palm Springs it is.